has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk Today.
What is on your mind, Cayman? If you are ready to talk, we are ready to listen. Here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, welcome and thank you on another wonderful Wednesday's edition of Talk Today as we invite you to be a part of a discussion. A good friend, Ms. Camille Angel from the Youth Services Unit. I'm going to start things off for a few minutes until 12:30 as we talk about the Proud of Them. And half an hour of open line, and then at 1 o'clock, the dynamic team at WISTA, WISTA, will be in the studio. Maybe you should go online to that internet search engine and find out what that's about. But 1 o'clock, we'll tell you more. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
Talk Today is reminding you.
Avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990. 949-8037 or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
Email Talk Today at candw.ky. Let your voice be heard.
And now, back to Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, Radio Cayman Talk Today.
Hey, welcome back and thanks again. It's always a pleasure to be able to highlight the fantastic things that exist in our community, and whenever we can partner with any of our government agencies, in particular those that focus on the youth and the elderly, well, just with great pride and joy and respect and admiration. So, Ms. Camille, thank you for joining us. I know, take a quick minute, it won't be that fast, but can never spend enough time celebrating our youth in particular. So how are you?
Definitely. I am very excited because I know we've been sharing the news, but especially sharing it today. Our Proud of Them nominations are open for young Caymanians aged 10 to 25 years old to be recognized in the awarding categories. So these awarding categories recognize their excellence, their contributions to the community, and also to whatever the area or remit may be. So there are actually 6 categories. They include sports, academics, community service, career, business, which is really for the entrepreneurs, and also culture. So we definitely want to encourage the public to join us in recognizing those young people, and it's a really simple process.
And as you reference, I mean, there's career and then there's business. And for some people might, I appreciate you explain it, it's different. That person, a young person who's in that career and upward trajectory, different from the young person who is an entrepreneur who set up this thing, maybe very innovative, maybe cutting a new path in an already established industry, but is distinguishing with herself.
Yes, and this is something that we're really happy that these awarding categories are very diverse. So that gives us an opportunity to say, how is this young person contributing in that specific area? And we definitely recognize that business is one, and that really has to do with the young people who have established businesses, they're entrepreneurs, etc., like you said. So we do like to clarify that when we share with the public, but a lot of the other categories are, very straightforward. It's sports, academics, community service, and then careers for those who are excelling in their careers, and culture, and then of course business, those who have started businesses, as I mentioned. So every year we receive really great public support for this campaign, and most people would recognize it from the billboards that are on the side of the road. So you'll see those young people in their faces and what they're awarded in all of the different districts, and you'll see them here in Grand Cayman. You'll also see them in Cayman Brac, nearby district admin. And every year there are 15 youth that are recognized, and last year we actually recognized 2 additional youth who are rising stars. And so we want to encourage the public. Last year we had over 100 nominations. Please go ahead and submit a nomination before the deadline, which is the 6th of September. So that's coming up quite soon. But for you as a nominator, you'll just have to go online at www.youthservices.ky/proud of them. And then it's a short form. There's a 500-word testimonial where you can share, why is this young person doing so well in this area? And you can nominate them in up to 2 areas. So if you want to say they're doing great in academics and sports, explain to us why. And also share the contact details of the person that you're nominating, so their email address, so that what will happen is when you submit this, your submission is anonymous. It's an anonymous nomination, and you've just written up why that person should be recognized. And then that email will go to the nominee saying that someone anonymously nominated them and that they should submit some more documents to support the nomination, accept it. So we don't expect you as a nominator to have all the pictures of the young people maybe out winning competitions, or maybe they're working on special projects in the community. We don't expect you to have a full knowledge of that. So we do give the nominee the opportunity to say, well, I accept this anonymous nomination and I'll give them some more documents so that the Proud of Them Selection Committee can review my nomination. And, it's a competitive process, and it's very difficult, I imagine, for that selection committee to narrow down, because that's 15 people. And honestly, there's so many outstanding applications. We just want to encourage you, if you're going to nominate those young people, please nominate them as soon as possible. Really short process for you. Just visit www.youthservices.ky/proud of them, and then go ahead and complete the nomination. Your nominee will have, from the time of that submission, to look for any additional documents to support it. Say they have pictures of them receiving medals, or say they've went abroad to do cultural performances, or maybe they've participated in workshops or residencies. So this is really speaking to how there's so many opportunities to recognize them, and we really do need the community to step in and submit a nomination.
Right. So the nominations close on September the 6th.
They do.
All right. And with that in mind, the person making the nomination can nominate as many as they want.
They can.
Doesn't matter the connection, whether you're teacher, coach, parent, sibling, whomever. Up to 500 words. No, it can be less. I know someone will struggle more.
Sure, it doesn't have to be that long, but we just want to give you space to say everything that you got to say. And we know that there's great things to say about what our young people are doing out in the community. So even that is kind of hard, but there is a 500-word limit.
You might think that's a lot. And when you start typing, you got 5,000 words and you got to 8 it. You're going to find that to be a challenge.
It's definitely.
But by closing on the 6th, so someone puts it in.
Yes.
The young person gets the email saying you've been anonymously nominated. They don't need to know who. That young person has to then respond. But they got to do that by the 6th.
So we know that our nominations close on the 6th, but we actually have a small window of time the week after those nominations close that anyone who might have received a late nomination can go ahead and submit their documents in that week.
Right.
And that is just to provide that we need to have some time to pass those documents on to our selection committee and to be able to share what those young people are doing.
Right.
They'll each have files which contain their nomination form, what their nominator said about them, and all the documents that they are submitting through their nomination form. So we do encourage you. It's even better to give those young people more time. So if you even have just some words to say about them, like I said, it's only 500 words. See if you can do that as soon as possible to give them more time to make sure that they can share about what they're doing and share the supporting evidence of that.
And thank you for that, because I know sometimes we intend to nominate a young person, slips us for whatever reason, or maybe on the 6th as an argument. Oh, little Jeannie.
Still do it.
Little Tom, do it.
Yes.
Young person has less time, but still has time.
Yes.
So the sooner we do it, the better. And let me then ask, some of us we like to write, and some of us, we like bullet point. So if you're nominating someone and you're not able to have, flowing prose as some would want, you just bullet points, nominate this person.
You definitely can, and you can say if you've seen them doing great things in the community, or if there's things you can identify, maybe they've worked with you before on, if you're a teacher, if you're a coach, if you're someone who might have experienced their support firsthand, like they've helped to plan a project or done something that's really important that they need to be recognized by our country. So this is a national award, and it's for young Caymanians aged 10 to 25 years old. And we do want to encourage you. There are 6 awarding categories. We can definitely think of young people who are doing amazing things in all of those categories. So we do encourage you to go ahead. It's a quick process for you. And for those young people, they just need to provide documents that they probably already have. So they will be asked to provide 2 references. They will be asked to share about their impact in the community and the things that they've done that have had wide-reaching effect. And so every year we get these very dynamic applicants, and we get some really great stories that are very inspiring. And that's our tagline for this campaign. It's inspiration in action. So a lot of these young people, they're active, they're doing things that benefit our country and our community, and they really are an inspiration, and we're very proud of them, want to make sure we acknowledge them. And touching on some things that you had mentioned earlier, other people can submit nominations. So if both yourself and I want to submit a nomination for Jane, we can both do that. It doesn't hurt her chances or change them, because Jane is able to see she was nominated multiple times. She would receive the notification. But if she's nominated by both of us in academics, then Jane just fills out her form for academics and provides everything. She doesn't have to fill out multiple forms.
I recognize and say that, Ms. Camille, and I appreciate your time. So as we wrap it up, the notion that in that case, you and I nominate the same person. We can do it collectively. We can do it independently without knowledge of the other. If we both nominate Jean for academics, she gets 2 notifications that she'll be nominated twice. Each time
she'll know that she's been nominated, but she will read in the email that it says not to fill it out again if you get nominated in the same category. But if she does get nominated in, say, business, because she has not only academics but business, say she started a great business and she's working on that as a startup, she will fill out her form again for that information in business, but only because it's a separate category, and she might have separate supporting documents, like she might have her trade and business license, she might have other things that she wants to submit for that. But otherwise, it's a very straightforward process. And we do want to encourage the public. If you have any questions, you can call us at Youth Services. It's 943-1127. Or you can email us at info.ysu@gov.ky and just view the form. For yourself, it's at www.youthservices.ky/proud of them. Take a look at the form, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask us. We want to make sure that the process is as simple as possible, so you really just have to nominate Jane. in this example, we have Jane, but it could be John. It could be just about any young person, 10 to 25-year-old young Caymanian who's really excelling in those categories. And please don't think that just because this person is doing well, someone else will notice it and someone else will submit a nomination. If you've seen them doing well, I encourage you to submit a nomination. You might not know them the best, but that young person is doing so well, and you wouldn't want to leave it to chance that they wouldn't be nominated, because that recognition, it just goes so far in a young person's life.
How you say that? I liken it to, one person in the audience clapping. The thing was a great effort, a great accomplishment. Yes. We can clap. 2 people, 3, the entire audience, maybe it's a standing ovation. That clap in unison just resonates more loudly. So if it's one or it's N people nominating the same person, hey, don't leave. Maybe I can say this: if you see someone doing something good, say something, nominate someone.
Yes.
So the 6th of September, and hopefully between now and then you'll come back on again. We can talk more, if not by a phone call. All right, closing thoughts.
Just to encourage the public, please, if you want to submit that short nomination form, it's only 500 words. Nominate that young Caymanian that you see who's excelling. They're 10 to 25 years old. The categories are sports, academics, community service, career, business, which is really those who have started a business, and culture. So just to encourage you to nominate them, it's www.youthservices.ky/proud of them. Quick, simple, and really impactful.
And you have to the 6th of September.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much, Ms. Camille. I know you're just outside of the age of nominating, but we're proud of you. You make us proud. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to pause and take a break. We'll be open line until 1, and then, did you find out what WISTA is? WISTA? Maybe a caller afterwards can tell me, and then let's see if you get the prize. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Discover your dream home with Cayman National's home loan. Get up to 95% financing, repayment up to 40 years, and just a 0.5% commitment fee. Your interest rate? Depending on your risk factors, it'll be fixed or variable. Plus, you get a pre-approved credit card. This is a limited time offer. Dial 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
You deserve a unique vacation this year, one with easy non-stop flights from Cayman. Cayman Airways offers more non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline. Now you can add Panama and Los Angeles to your travel bucket list. Skip the hassle of connecting flights. Panama is just a 2-hour non-stop flight from Cayman. And Los Angeles? Get there in less than 5 hours non-stop aboard Cayman Airways. Call 949-2311 or visit CaymanAirways.com to book your Los Angeles or Panama getaway today.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
There you go, sir. Thanks for choosing JN Money Transfer.
Boy, thanks to JN Money Transfer, I can stay right here in Cayman and pay mama bills back home in Jamaica. Her water, light, phone, and other bills never late. Every month I pay everything in one place.
Make payments to over 30 companies in Jamaica through JN Money Transfer. Fast, affordable, convenient. Call 1-800-744-1163 for details.
Summer's heating up, and so are the good times. Whether you are out on the water, enjoying the beach, or gathering with colleagues for an office bash, make it a feast to remember with Subway. From assorted sandwich platters to mouth-watering cookies, our catering menu has something for everyone. Perfect for groups of 5 or more. For food that's fresh, fast, and perfect for any occasion, choose Subway Catering. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh. Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thank you very much for joining us. Thanks again to the phenomenal team over at Youth Services Unit, to Miss Camille. Now I say Angel. Now my friend says Angel. Well, her daughter says she's probably, as her mother would probably agree, an angel in particular. But they're at the Youth Services Unit, like, many within the public sector. Fantastic, dedicated, really committed personnel who serve the interests of our country in the most valiant way. So I was proud of them. The Youth Awards are coming to a close. The nominations close on the 6th of September. Please nominate those young people, as Ms. Camille reminded us. You, as the person making the nomination, can nominate as many as you choose. It doesn't matter if you're the coach, the parent, the sibling, if you're, the teacher, or someone that has observed that young person in some endeavor that you think is worthy of national recognition, please make that nomination. If that young person is nominated by many different people, that doesn't matter. If the person, is nominated in 2 of the 6 categories, hey, so much the better. I think Ms. Camille reminded us: academics, sports, culture, career, community service, and business, that entrepreneurship. Those 6 areas. Pick 2, or if you think the person excels in one specifically, hey, that is fine. Up to 500 words might sound like a lot, but it can go quickly. Ms. Camille emphasized that some of us like to write, and we have, ease of prose. For others, well, bullet points. Just make it clear who you're nominating and why, and kind of giving a glowing reference. So please do that. Recognize that it closes on the 6th of September. Quick, pop quiz. What day is Sunday? Well, start with the 1st, and you realize the 6th is not shortly thereafter. All right, what's on your mind? I hope that you did this morning as you did on Monday, as you will again on Friday. Join me start for the record. I usually try to catch as much of it as I could. Today I had a few other things, so I only got bits and pieces. And as they were talking about, the whole seemingly, not just from what little I heard, but from what was shared independent of that, the wider community, and in particular those at the credit union, were caught a bit flat-footed, off guard, by surprise at this proposal. Now, again, I don't like to speak to which I don't know, but one individual said, that person, well, I thought I would have, known about this thing before. This is seemingly significant. How did this gain traction? Where did it come from, and why? Well, sometimes things happen, and maybe it gets misconstrued, blown out of proportion. Maybe it was something that was there that nobody really looked at because it wasn't the line item. Who knows? But what it did, in a sort of ensuing conversation, the person says, if we look at the Cayman context and we think of the financial landscape, and if we understand generally what cooperatives are, for some of us, we might know a little bit more because we were part of it, maybe because of our study or even our employment. But if you have a farmers cooperative, people come together and they try to pool their resources. They figure out how best to do this thing to gain economies of scale, reduce costs, include market accessibility, and allow people to benefit more. It's not that financial endeavor where profit at any cost is the motive. It's a thing where it's profitable, beneficial to the cooperative, the membership, and it works. Many see it as sort of a thing that it isn't fitting with the capitalist market. Others see it as being absolutely essential because it helps to, with the market corrections and the like. Without any history, knowledge, or any intent to speak with any authority, if we look at the functioning of the credit union, many would say, well, there are areas it could improve and expand. Others would say it's just been incredibly beneficial and invaluable. Without it, many wouldn't have homes or even businesses or the financial investments or the like. But then when that thing is done that could hinder it, again, as an example, just generally, a staff or staff members aren't pulling the weight and functioning properly, or a management decision or management appointment or what have you, but even legislation. That's the one thing that this individual shared, is that when it comes to our credit union, maybe legislation hampered its growth. Maybe it's the cautionary and sensible approach of, not being this thing or in this way. Having said that, his parting words coupled with the other individual was simple. As a community, this is where we need to be engaged, involved, informed, not just proactive, but sufficiently, courageous enough to speak about, defend, or promote that thing that we think is necessary. I will pause and take a break on with that. When we return, some open line, 949-8037 or 949-6990. We want to hear from you, so stay tuned for Talk Today.
Did you know ordering your favorite sandwich from Subway just got easier? Yeah, picture this. No more waiting in line. No more fussing with cash. Just a delicious taste of Subway at your fingertips. With our new app, ordering your go-to sub is as easy as a few taps on your phone. Plus, receive exclusive deals and earn loyalty points with every purchase made on the app. Download the new Subway app today and get ready to ditch the lines and drive straight into your flavor. Visit the App Store or Google Play Store on your mobile phone and search for Subway Cayman Islands. Subway. Eat fresh.
Find your dream car with a Cayman National Vehicle Loan. Enjoy 100% financing, up to 8-year repayment, and a 7% fixed interest rate for the first 5 years. For eco-friendly cars, we'll waive your commitment fee. This only applies to new vehicles. Call 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
Hey, Mom and Dad. School is nearly back in session. Is your child ready for the school year? Stop by Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village and pick up all your child's stationery supplies. You won't need to break the bank to get your little one prepared for the school year. You have enough to worry about. Make back to school a breeze with Savannah Pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, or call 946-3336. Savannah Pharmacy supports your education in our small community. That's why the first 20 customers will receive a free fully stocked school bag. Savannah Pharmacy. We love our community.
The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter will be taking appointments September 4th to the 7th at his Crew Road Clinic. Appointment slots are limited. Whether you're seeking advanced skin care, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Wayne Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email drporterkman@gmail.com. That's drporterkman@gmail.com. Call 946-9020 to book your appointment today. That's 946-9020.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back and thanks for joining us. It is open line and we go straight to the phones. Welcome, thank you for calling.
Hi, good afternoon. How are you?
Excellent. As fellas reminds me that somebody says, and I've said, hey, why not say that? All is well. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I wanted to talk about two things quickly. First, the document that's going around from the Ministry of Financial Services. I know everybody is really focused on the fact surrounding, how it could potentially affect the credit union. But I wanted to say that is not, to me, that is not the only important aspect on this document that I would say the average class working person or resident in the Cayman Islands should pay attention to. There's other areas on there that I think are very pertinent. I too am somewhat disappointed. This is not law yet. It's only being passed around for consultation, and I encourage everyone to take advantage of getting access to the document and reading it. And the last page shows where you can reach out to give your opinions and so forth. But the concern for me not only is because they want to go and raise the fee for the credit union, but of course, like everyone else, the fee, in my view, is way through the ceiling. Also, I think they could have put it in more comparable to, say, the Builders Society or even 10,000. But, that's just my opinion on what the proposed fee could have been compared to what it is, because it seems like that fee against credit union, for whatever reason, is the most increased fee on the entire document from what I've seen, which I don't understand why that is. But in addition to that, the other areas I wanted to call to attention is the areas in regards to insurance fees and money sending services fees. Those two areas should also be paid attention to, because, of course, any of these fees that are increased, if it passes, will trickle down to the consumer. So, we have a lot of residents here on island that use money services. Just about everyone in the country is supposed to be insured. So I just want to bring that to the attention of the public, that they need to pay more attention to other areas, or just as much attention to other areas of this document, and give their consultation and feedback on, because credit union, yes, there's a very high proposed fee for that area. We don't hear anything from the insurance industry, as we're hearing from credit union, and we haven't heard anything from the money services companies. I don't think they've got a hold of it yet. But those are two main areas that could affect the average working class person. In addition, they have increased small fees for the, what is it called, the LLC? Let me see here. The LLC and the business fees.
You mean the LCCL?
LCCL, yes.
Mm-hmm.
There's small increases for those areas also proposed. The LLCCL, I think...
The LCCL.
Right, yes. I think they could have suggested increasing those fees a little bit more. A lot of people may not be happy with me saying that. But on the other end, I think those suggested increases are okay, could potentially be okay, because these this category of businesses, in addition to the company's fees, do affect a lot of Caymanians, entrepreneurs. We've seen a lot of Caymanians gone into business since the pandemic. So I'm kind of on the fence in applauding the small increases in that area, even though we know there still are a lot of people, especially for the, what is it called, LCCL?
Yes, local companies control law license.
Control law, yes, right? Yes. I keep getting...
No, that's okay. LLC is in relation to corporations where there's limited liability.
Right, yes, right? That don't have Caymanian partnership or whatever it's called. I know I'm just getting a little tongue-tied.
No, that's
right
okay.
now.
Hey, take your time.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe it's my charming disposition that is putting you off.
Yes, thank you for keeping me in line. I
There you go.
appreciate that so much. But yeah, I just wanted to bring those particular areas to the attention of the public too.
Mm-hmm.
I think they are, if not more important than, I'm not trying to minimize what the concern is with credit union.
Just emphasizing there are other areas to consider.
Right. Other areas that are just as important, if not more important.
Mm-hmm.
So I leave that there.
Thank you.
And encourage everyone to try to get a copy of the document. It's very short. It's 19 pages. It's put together very, very simply, to be honest with you, the way they've set it out. It's not a hard reading for anyone. But the other issue I wanted to talk about was, I'm not sure if you got a chance to read the Compass lately, where they're highlighting the fact of this mental health facility and doing interviews with some of the patients overseas in Jamaica, and some of the article is so heartbreaking and heart-wrenching. Dean Sterling, I encourage you, if you haven't gotten a chance yet, to read the article. This matter needs to be discussed. I myself feel if in 9 years or even 4 years, a new facility could have been built, if that's what it had to come down to make sure that a facility was provided for or to bring. Well, I can't say our because I don't know anyone that's overseas, but I use our in the context of our people, and they're saying it's Caymanian patients. That it's really, really sad to see that, and I'm not throwing any shades at the government or anything. I'm just making my general opinionated statement, is that it's really, really sad to see that, and CNS has another article which speaks about, the amount of funds that has been used to buy properties around the islands and what the properties have been used for and what they haven't been used for and so forth and whatnot. That's another interesting article I encourage everyone to go and read. But it's really sad to see that all of this information is coming out, right? But we have not been able to get this facility in place. When the Compass article talks about 9 years ago, or within 9 years, I'm looking at 9 years. I'm looking at the immediate almost 4 years. If we couldn't have gotten this facility that's in East End up and running, why is it we couldn't have gotten something else in place? I mean,
an interim facility even.
Right. Yes. I meant yes. Yes. Exactly.
I listening.
I just, it doesn't make sense to me. Why that has not been a priority of our government. I would say, because it's not only this particular government, but the article goes back and talk about up to 9 years. So what has been happening? Why this facility? I mean, this is government. They have the authority and the power to do and get things done. Why could not permits be granted? Why couldn't the facility? It doesn't make sense to me, and I just wanted to hear that and have a discussion going on about that, because our patients are over there. They miss their families, they miss their homes.
That's 9 years that they haven't been able to, as you shared, right?
Some of them saying 7 years, but there's two issues. We want our patients back home where they belong, where they can be more successful in healing and getting treatment. But we also want to make sure that this facility, it's a I'm going to be clear here now. This is a breach of people's constitutional and human rights. Those patients that are being over there and the governments have a right to provide this facility. We just approved funds to build a facility for the migrants, right? And I'm not speaking against that. Don't misunderstand me. But I'm saying, where is the priority in certain things? I mean, for the vulnerable, yes.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense to me, and I'm getting a bit passionate about it. But
That's
I just wanted to bring that out there also for a discussion, because I feel like it's being put on the back burner and pushed to the back of the class, like most issues are with social
with our own people.
Yeah. So I'll leave you with that one there. I might call back when I got some more ideas in my mind, but I'll leave you with that.
Get a bowl of fish tea, maybe a little glass of lemonade, and then give us a shout back later on if you want.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Take care.
Idea.
Thanks.
See you soon.
Let's take this other call before the break. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling. Yes, hello. How are you? Well, it isn't, and this is the 949-837, 949-6990. I don't know about you, but sometimes the technology doesn't work in our favor. But we had a couple of calls and we don't. That's not my best impression of Mr. L, but that's how it goes. But to the last caller's point, is it about respect and humanity? Is it about, as she said, prioritizing? She tried, not to cast shade. I think she just tried to emphasize the importance of, what are we doing? Our news break is now. We'll pause. We'll take that. When we come back, we're going to be telling you about Vista. Honored to have that discussion. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
76.
Covering Grand Cayman, Low Cayman, and right.
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
89.9 Radio Cayman helps you to weather the storm during this hurricane season.
One of the most crucial elements of hurricane preparedness is storm awareness. During the season, it is of utmost importance to pay attention to the latest local weather forecasts, as hurricanes do not suddenly form or strike. There are various methods of advanced notification. Utilizing such may be the difference between a favorable outcome and disaster. Both television and radio serve as excellent mediums with up-to-the-minute storm path information in the wake of a hurricane. Another method of tracking a hurricane may be only arm's length away. Your smartphone or tablet can be your most valuable tool before, during, and after a storm, providing countless numbers of apps with crucial hurricane information. Many apps allow you to track storms with moving radar and satellite imagery, plus offer alerts, current conditions, forecasts, advisories, and even video.
This hurricane preparedness tip was brought to you by your community radio station, Radio Cayman 89.9 FM.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
With a look at your latest headlines, I'm Dwayne Ebanks. Simon Boxall retired on August 22nd after 18 years with the Cayman Islands government, including 16 years at Hazard Management Cayman Islands. His key achievements including securing bathymetry mapping, completing the tsunami inundation model, and developing the storm surge and wave impact inundation model, as well as leading the marine oil spill contingency plan. He's also established community emergency response teams and the volunteer agency responder emergency support team. In regional news, a new direct shipping route between Trinidad and Tobago and Curacao will start on September 20th, operated by Don Andres NV and Gulf Shipping. This follows a trade mission led by Trade and Industry Minister Paula Schoon. The routes support ongoing trade negotiations and aim to enhance trade relations. Trinidad and Tobago have exported approximately Trinidad and Tobago $140 million to Curacao from 2018 to 2022. The new sea route will complement existing air links by Caribbean Airlines. The Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force will strictly enforce the Criminal Law Amendment Act to protect minors under 16. Children found loitering after 10 p.m. without a legitimate reason will be taken to the nearest police station and held until their parents and guardians are notified. Parents may face fines up to EC $500 for failing to supervise their children. The RSCNPF urges community cooperation to ensure the safety of young people. Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew highlighted the recent rise in violence, stressing the need for action to protect the nation's youth and restore peace. That is your latest headlines. I'm Dwayne Ebanks.
Radio Cayman. More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
It's one of the best moments of your life when you welcome your baby into the world. The HSA's experienced women's health and maternity team provides the highest quality of care throughout your pregnancy and delivery. As a JCI accredited hospital, we are the leader in maternal care, safely delivering over 700 babies annually. Visit hsa.ky for more information. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
Born September 25th, 1947 at Watering Place, Cayman Brac, Royce Adolphus Dilbert was the firstborn son of Hallen and Grace Dilbert, née Tibbets. Like many of the men of his time, he spent many years at sea. During his breaks from sea life, Mr. Dilbert employed his diverse skill sets. He worked at Alfred Scott's block factory as a mechanic with Eston Scott, and his uncle Bergman Dilbert performed dynamite blasting in Cayman Brac with the late Reverend Lee King, as well as worked at MRCU in Grand Cayman. He was also an entrepreneur selling fruits, cars, and tires, and painted and repaired vehicles. His mechanical skills proved immeasurable when in 1979, working in the Campeche Bank oil field, Mexico, his ship was chartered by Halliburton to supply material to cap the exploratory well which blew out in Mexico's Bay of Campeche. In 1981, he retired from sea and took employment with the Cayman Brac Power and Light Company as chief engineer, where he remained until his retirement in December of 2018.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome and thank you so much. And this job, if I didn't even get paid for it, I think it would be invaluable. Listen, making my life that much more accomplished, rewarding, and fulfilling. And especially when I look around the table and be able to look and take a lesson and appreciate to whom much is given, much is required. But more importantly, the notion that together we make it happen. So, Vista, the women who globally have always been at the helm. It is if I can say it publicly, with a great expectation, great jubilation, and a true honor and privilege. I can feel the greatness. And I don't say that for any reason other than to ask our young ladies, in particular, their mothers and their aunts and their grandmothers, speak to them, how they dress and make sure they present themselves with deportment and decorum as they excel at the helm in education or the academic endeavors or in entrepreneurship and their careers, that they can take a living page from the prowess that is before us. So, missionaries to you, Mom, and through you, please tell us why we can look to the future with such greatness when we see what we have at our helm.
Thank you very much, sir. It is a real pleasure to be here today, and I'm joined as part of the Women's International Shipping and Trading Association, the Cayman Islands chapter, by a number of our directors. These people have been on the board of directors since the beginning, 10 years ago. And the reason for our visit to you today is to celebrate our 10th anniversary and also to tell you about what we're doing to celebrate our 10th anniversary. I'm also joined today by a member of the Cayman Islands Coast Guard, Miss Erica Rocket McBean. She's actually a sub-lieutenant at the Cayman Islands Coast Guard. She recently was promoted again. And again, we have known Erica before when she was training. So this is somebody that we are very proud of, and she's a real symbol of what WISTA is and what WISTA is about and what we do. Mm-hmm. And so I'm joined by Doris Lee Jackson. Doris is actually, we refer to her as the mother of the Women's International Shipping and Trading Association, the Cayman Islands, because she is the person who started it. She was the spark who caused this to happen 10 years ago. And I'll let Doris, when she's speaking, tell you a little bit about how that happened. Currently, Doris's position is as the personal assistant to the Honorable Minister Catherine Ebanks Wilkes in the Ministry of Sustainability and Climate Resiliency at the Cayman Islands government. We're also joined today by Nanalie Cover. She's a director at the WISTA Cayman Islands as well, and her current position is as Director of Corporate Affairs at Cayman Airways. Robin Atihira. Robin's position is as Regional Senior Business Development Executive at the Maples Group. And Vanjie Hunter. Vanjie is the office manager. She wears a number of hats, but today she's here as the Director of Hyde Agencies Limited, and that's the role that she plays within our organization. Again, one of the very, very first members that we reached out to in the public, somebody who is in the shipping world, who deals with it every day.
Yeah. And by recognizing just who's assembled from, our Coast Guard and what Coast Guards represent, but also the future in terms of the youth and the energy that comes, but then the industry from the things that we may interact with as consumers to legal personnel like yourself who facilitate all the other stuff from the shipping registry. But then you reference Cayman Airways, for instance, and people go, but shipping and aircraft, how does that play in? And it's a dynamic that maybe we can explore. But I kind of, Ms. Hera, from that perspective, bring you into the equation. And this is where, from a distance, understanding what Vista has done locally, from your sea perch and robotics to your conferences and the young ladies in particular who attended as students, open up careers to them that they did not realize existed, from the legal documentation to the actual being at the helm, if they so choose, of large ocean-going vessels. We don't really appreciate what we have here, nor do we understand the significant history. And this is why it's such an honor. I mean, I sit here and no king, queen, no president or pilot anywhere could be as privileged to sit in such an assembly. This is good stuff. All right. I drew a straw, I flipped a coin, and I decided who I wanted to ask first. So, Miss Doris. Since, what did she say? You're the mother?
Mother, yeah.
What would that make me? Welcome, Mom. And for those who don't know, I mean, Posidonia, I am told, 10 years ago, a spark was lit, and having the fantastic opportunity to join Mr. Joel and the team this last time in Posidonia, to understand what that was like. People don't, hopefully they'll come over and tell their story at one point, but the world of shipping is there, and you stood out. And
that's right, yes. Thank you, Dwayne, for having me over.
Mm-hmm.
And 10 years ago, I attended, as you were saying, Posidonia show in Athens, and I was approached. I attended one of the events hosted by Vista Athens, and I was approached by one of the members there, which invite me to open or to start a Vista chapter in the Cayman Islands. Upon my return here now, I approached Miss Cherise Arman. She's a partner at Maples and one of the leading females in the shipping industry here in the Cayman Islands. And I asked her to please help me with this big hat that I was going to use here to start with the Cayman Island here in the Cayman Islands. Cherise, of course, she came on board and she helped me. And on August 2014, on the 24th of August, actually, we host our first Vista meeting with over 20 members, actually. And everybody was happy to come on board. Everybody was looking forward to what we were going to do in the community, And coming October that year, the same year, we introduced for the first time in Cyprus our charter of Vista Cayman Islands. So this year now, they hosting the Vista AGM in Cyprus, and a group of our board of directors is going to be attending, just, to celebrate this milestone,
Well, I trust it'll be a fantastic trip, but safe, fulfilling trip. If I might, though, Posidonia is usually around June, right? August, 2 months later, you have your chapter. 2 months later in October, you can introduce it. What's that saying that I hear my mother tells? You want a job done right, give it to a woman?
That's right. Yes.
And we had about 20 women that joined our first
meeting. It was over 20 members, female members,
And with that, thanks, Ms. Robnett. Welcome. I know Ms. Cherise introduced you, but tell us a little bit about you. And I wanted to pivot to you and then to Ms. Vanji, because we don't understand sometimes how, and I don't, if it's disrespectful and people find it disparaging of governments, then, please accept it as an opportunity to improve. But we talk about bureaucracy, and there's a committee to establish a committee that will form a committee to do committee's work at some point, and it never gets done. 30 years later, and we're still talking about things that, it's still an ideation almost. But in 6 months, you go from a spark to a full-blown, nice hella cake. Yeah. So welcome. Thank you for joining us. If you wish, and to what extent, introduce yourself properly to our listeners, because I think we allow our women to always be in the back, and we never, as much as we love our mothers and our spouses and our children, we don't clap and applaud publicly. Now I want to do that.
Yep. So Right now I'm with Maple's group. I'm on the financial services side. Charisse is over at the law firm. But the brunt of my career has been in the shipping industry. So I've been with Macy for over 10 years. So I was a civil servant and transferred over to corporate. But when I joined the WISTA board, I was the youngest member. And I want to say that this type of organization has been so beneficial to me to be with a part of a group that just nurtures, gives advice. They're so supportive. We do a lot of initiatives. And we have a long list of things that we've been active in, especially with the school children. And that was something like close to my heart, actually going in and just describing the type of opportunities available in shipping, because sometimes you only hear about, the boating industry, but we have the corporate aspect. At the shipping registry, I was actually a senior assistant registrar of shipping, so I did all the yacht registrations and I dealt with crew compliance. So there's a lot of avenues that, we're trying to push out to the public, and especially females, because it's not a female-dominated industry. So we're trying to encourage the ladies that this is somewhere that they can go.
When, yes, your former colleague, Ms. Kayla, reached out to me about it. It was so phenomenal. And I think for many, we still live in a world. And again, through you, I want to be guided because we assign labels. We adopt policies. The U.S. probably has the most favorite one where they talk about giving access to people and these things that perhaps served in the end what may have been a good intent to do a disservice, this affirmative action. Why can't people be promoted based on their merit, their ability, rather than their ethnicity, the color of their skin, whether they're male, female, or whoever, whatever? This may offend some people, but I'm guided by increasing comments from more who are saying, listen, you can do this job. It's a job that can be done. Doesn't matter who you are, where you are. Step up. 21st century, and we still arguing over foolishness, my view. So here you guys are telling us, okay, this may be a male world, but we hold the helm.
Yeah.
Right?
We can do it too.
And we can do it as good, if not better.
Yeah, because we get things done.
2 months.
Yes.
All right. And I want to come back to that in a second, because I think that's where, looking at what you've shared, we can bring more people into it. And as parents, as educators, we can say, go do law, but you don't need to be an advocate before the court. Do accounting, or you can get into naval architecture. You can do these things. Those careers are not told to us. We're not aware of them. We don't understand. With great respect, sometimes we think, oh, but you can't be in Cayman if you want to do that. Yes, you can. All right. So before Sub-Lieutenant joins us, Ms. Vanji, I wanted to join you. Welcome, Mom. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having us.
What is it, if it's okay, and anything I ask or say, if it's not clear or if you think it's not appropriate, you guide me. I'm used to having my sisters guide me. So as a female in an industry like probably, as Robin shared, male dominated. I don't see this such, but then again, I grew up with a father who said, you think it can get done if you don't do it, male or female, you can cook, wash, clean, sweep the yard. There were no labels. Job had to be done. He's a pioneer, but then he's just a great man. You, a woman at the helm in a male-dominated industry, or is it just a job to be done and the best person for the job just happens to be the best person?
Well, both. I come from a long line of seafarers.
Come a little closer, please. Yeah,
I come from a long line of seafarers, so I grew up in the shipping world. I am actually the agent for Hyber Limited in Hyde Shipping here, so I actually work in commercial shipping, importing goods, large and small, to the Cayman Islands. And as you say, it's a male-dominated, but the company that I work for and represent, which is a family-owned company, it's a dad with several daughters, and so everybody was brought up to learn about the shipping. And his son is now the president, and he continues with that women are giving opportunities for really any role. And here in Cayman, in our office, there's just 5 people in the office, and 3 of us ladies, and then 2 guys that actually do the operations down at the port.
See that they're smart. They can follow instructions. Good fellas. Miss Erica, welcome. How are you?
Good afternoon, Cayman. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm okay. I'm fine. I'm really happy to be here. It's such an honor to be here because about 2 or 3 years ago, I was at a meeting with the Worcester ladies, and I was accompanied by then Rear Admiral Antoinette Weems Gorman of the Jamaica Defense Force, and she basically put her mouth on me saying to expect great things. So I'm just very humbled and happy to be here today.
Yeah, we remember her appointment. I mean, that parade, you know, and it was just not just memorable, but it was sort of instructive of what can and should transpire. Not unlike Janet Reno's appointment as Attorney General or even others. But we got to wait for international things to transpire before we recognize what we have within our soul. Other than that, would you have been here? I mean, has maritime, Coast Guard, any sort of thing within the maritime arena been on your radar?
When you say that question, like overall, growing up?
Yeah. What would you want to, if you could do it and you were planning to do something, what would it have been? Would it have been in maritime?
So, me being in maritime came as a blessing after tragedy. For those that know me, I am Erica Asai. I sing. I enjoy singing. I enjoy performing arts. However, in March of 2016, I lost my adopted father as well as some cousins at sea. That was the situation with the Panga off of 12 Mile Bank. My father nor my cousins and the 2 other adults were never found, so I made it my life's mission to assist persons and families like mine to be reconnected with their loved ones. So the Coast Guard, when it was established, I was working with the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service as a receptionist for their headquarters. And I said to myself, I will never wear stripes, as in I'll never become a police officer. But if I could have been fast-tracked to work in the Marine detachment, I would definitely do it. So when it was created in 2018 and I saw and I met our now Commander Robert Scotland and our Lieutenant Commander Leo Anglin, I was like, this is what I want to do. I cannot allow myself to sit here by the wayside and miss an opportunity. So in 2021, I became a part of 6 women that joined and a part of the first cohort, and it's been history ever since. My life has changed immensely. I've been blessed in so many ways to receive officer training in Jamaica. I was there for a year. I am a second lieutenant, I guess now a lieutenant in Jamaica. I'm a infantry trained soldier. So it's just been a whirlwind of opportunities for me, and I really look forward to the future. If there's anything I'd ever have to tell any woman that's listening right now, any young woman under the age of 30, put in the work, it is possible. Always be willing to help out and never shy away just because you have XX chromosomes. Like, you are capable. You are capable. A lot of people would look at me as Erica Asai and be like, she's too soft, she's too girly. But I can shoot a gun. I can save people. I can get out and tie a knot. And, I mean, I might not know how to drive a boat as yet.
That's won't come.
But yet is the operative word here. Yeah. And it's always ensuring that you know that it's possible. So that's just my little shout out to the girls out there.
And thank you for that, because for me, as I looked around and being cognizant of some of the people who were coming, as I saw you, for those who didn't know, she's like what my father says, if you're on time, you're late, she was waiting, right? So recognizing you from a distance in your career, glad you shared that. Oftentimes, we don't see what happens in our lives, how that can be turned into something, not just important and impactful, but so instrumental in others' lives. And I don't know, there's something about being at sea, from an all-night fishing trip to a few days on a voyage. And not talking about a cruise, where you come back sick. I'm talking about where you build bonds and strong and you understand.
It's definitely an experience. We're actually taking in some new recruits next week, something I'm very excited for, because in the Cayman Islands Coast Guard, it's unlike any other uniform service. It's very difficult, yes, but we really do encourage camaraderie, especially females and men integrating and understanding that we help each other and we're not against each other. Yeah. And I think that's something that I would like to push to all those that think that we're not on the same team. It's just to reach a common goal.
Again, just one more second with you for, we speak to our Director of Corporate Services at CAL. Right? On a boat, in a boat, if the crew members are not on the same page, not only is it probably unsafe, but it's not enjoyable.
It is not. We really try. It really isn't. So what we do is we have various levels of command, which sort of keep things in check. So you have Gold Command, which is Commander Scotland, Silver Command, which would be myself or whoever is in charge of writing up what you're doing, and then you have tactical command, which is the person that's on board. So you know if the crew is going crazy, the person that's in charge on board will keep in charge of that. If the whole crew is crazy, the person on the next side of the radio will deal with it. But that's never happened, thank God. The training really showed true, and we've never had any fatalities, casualties, and we've always executed where possible.
And I think of all the things you shared, the idea of being able to tie a knot. People don't understand. It's not just the shoelaces or the bowling and you making sure to secure the ankle, but how do you,
Sometimes tying the knot isn't just a little thing. It's just, as Ms. Sheree said, is getting it done. Ensuring that everything's secured and just ensuring overall safety, because that's the biggest thing. When you work in this type of job, you're against the elements most times. I'm a shore-based officer. Let me just put that out there. I go to sea sometimes, but it's just even the logistics aspect is tying a knot, ensuring that everything is okay so that the team, when they deploy, they feel comfortable. Because when they go out and they don't know what they have available to them, they're not going to be able to execute the mission properly. So just knowing what you have, how to do it, when to do it. Training's always ongoing, and I think the Coast Guard has a really bright future ahead of it.
Well, that's my prayer and my petition. When I become governor, my priority. But I say that because there's utmost respect, I think, in the Cayman context, without anyone sort of stretching their imagination. They'll speak quickly to, financial services and hospitality. But do we recognize the strong maritime and also aviation history? They go hand in hand. In the island, you might appreciate maritime, but aviation. So, Ms. Natalie, from that perspective, how does your role and presence here, when it comes to women in shipping, for those of us who don't know? Welcome.
Thank you for having me, Sterling, and I appreciate you for everything that you bring to the table and offer the Cayman Islands on a daily basis. My role, 10 long years ago, I was the regional head of compliance at Maples, and I worked closely with Miss Armand and her aviation team. Aviation and shipping, because as I said before, she is the top expert in that field, and she's been recognized numerous times. But she did come to me at that point saying she'd spoken to this lovely young lady, Miss Jackson, needing to form the WISTA Cayman Islands chapter, and she was looking for a few good women to get on board and help them grow this. I come from a family of seafarers. My father was a seafarer, and for me it was a no-brainer. Secondly, the educational aspect of what she proposed, I was on board with. I'm a strong proponent for education throughout. So she didn't need to twist my arm, so I got on board. And I've never looked back. I mean, WISTA has done some amazing things over the years, which I'm sure Charisse will talk about. But we're very much so, our biggest, I think, contribution was Sea Perch, and then partnering with Commander Scotland to assist in their training program and provide unlimited support as much as WISTA was capable of. And I'm very proud of Mrs. Sai. Sorry. She comes, I know her from both aspects, and she comes from such a strong line of females. Like she's making it like she's downplaying it here, but she's she comes from a very strong line, and I'm very proud to see her here. I'm actually very proud to see her at this stage.
Well, thank you for sharing that, because that's where it's iron sharpens iron, where we build each other. And when we come back from the break, can we talk more about the accomplishments, the 10 years, maybe what 10 years will look like, and each of you share. Many things were sort of my priority when we came in, but there are two. One is to commend you, celebrate, have you share, but also through you encourage. School starts back in short order. For some, they're already there. And many of our students, and our young ladies in particular, may not, even in the 21st century, recognize the opportunities before them. They may see impediments that they put in their own minds, fostered by something that someone said unconsciously, and not understanding that there's so much more that we can achieve, attain, and be fulfilled if only someone made us know about it at the appropriate time. Can we do that? And they also can get some chocolate. People? All right. Join us right after the break.
You deserve a unique vacation this year, one with easy non-stop flights from Cayman. Cayman Airways offers more non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline. Now you can add Panama and Los Angeles to your travel bucket list. Skip the hassle of connecting flights. Panama is just a 2-hour non-stop flight from Cayman. And Los Angeles? Get there in less than 5 hours non-stop aboard Cayman Airways. Call 949-2311 or visit CaymanAirways.com to book your Los Angeles or Panama getaway today.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Refer a friend and get $50 to spend when your friend or family member opens a personal account with Cayman National. From July 9th to September 30th, 2024, C&B customers can earn $50 for each referral who opens an individual or joint personal account. Earn up to $500 with a maximum of 10 referrals. Visit CaymanNational.com for more details on this promotion and follow us on social media for updates. Terms and conditions apply.
If you're hearing, then maybe it's time you replace that old appliance. Now until the end of August, you can save 15% on all LG appliances at Brand Source Home Gallery. LG washers, dryers, refrigerators, ranges, cooktops, microwaves, and hoods are all on sale at Brand Source Home Gallery. Not only will you save 15%, you also receive a 1-year parts warranty with any LG appliance purchased by the end of August. Only at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park. Call 623-5000.
Attention shoppers, the anniversary sale at Tomlinson Furniture is here and hotter than the summer sun. If you're looking for new furniture or bedding, Tomlinson Furniture in the Mattress Gallery has you covered. Everything in stock is on sale. Special orders are 10% off. Now till August 31st, save up to 50% on selected items. Spin the wheel with each purchase. Everyone is a winner while supplies last. And enter to win our Jumbo Serta Sheep mascot or a Jumbo Beauty Rest turtle. Don't miss our 49th anniversary sale on now till August 31st at Tomlinson Furniture. Affordable, dependable, quality.
Work's new jobs and online payment services is officially live. Experience a more user-friendly site with easier navigation and enhanced features. Job seekers can now explore additional features tailored to their needs. Employers can benefit from a streamlined process for managing job posts and applications. Online payments are now a breeze. Discover more at worc.ky or call us at 945-9672.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back and thanks for joining us. And at 2 p.m., I'm honored to have this extended conversation with a wonderful guest. We'll have some open line thereafter. But as we talk about wisdom, Sherry, back to you. In 10 years, a lot can transpire, unless, of course, your government is still a bureaucracy. Just kidding. But in less than 6 months, you had a chapter that was sort of seeded, organized, and then presented. It just shows what can be done when people are committed to our process. But in that, sort of ensuing decade, you guys have done much. So allow me to, learn more as we share with our listeners, and then we go around. But thank, honestly, each of you for your individual efforts, your collective and committed action, but also for here today. For us to celebrate, I don't see any cake. Stars? I mean, chocolate cake? No. Okay, Ms. Sherry. WISTA, Women's International Shipping and Trading Association?
Yes. Right. Now, WISTA, their mission is really to create a networking opportunity for women in leadership positions in the maritime and trading industries. Mm-hmm. We made it our mission, our own mission as WISTA Cayman Islands, not just to be networking, but to create opportunities and focus our efforts on creating opportunities for students in Cayman. Mm-hmm. So if you look at the things that we've done over the years, they really have focused on school kids. Mm-hmm. I don't think we've done anything that hasn't focused on school children, including when we hosted the Women in Maritime Caribbean event, the inaugural conference here in Cayman. We made it a condition that we would host it only if they would go out to the schools in Cayman and do seminars. Similarly, when we did the WISTA International AGM and conference, again, we did it on the basis that we could make some of these international people coming here from the shipping industry globally available to school kids. We rented out the cinema and had as many school children as wanted to come into our sessions. At one point, we brought in Stephen Payne. Stephen Payne is a naval architect. He designed and oversaw the building of the Queen Mary 2. We brought him in for several days and again rented out the cinema at Camana Bay and brought in as many school children as we could find to come in and listen to him talk about it. What we're trying to do as an organization is spark even one child. And I've said to many people, if I could make a difference in one person's life and change their career and allow them an opportunity in an industry that has given me a lot of gratification, I've actually achieved what I've set out to do. And I think with Miss Erica, I really feel very proud as a part of WISTA to have been part of her journey. I think we've achieved with one person at least what we set out to do 10 years ago. And she's such a symbol of that for us.
And it shows, what when you have a commitment. And one of the things that I looked at in the discussion is that I'm told and reminded that not long ago behind the library we had a facility that allowed the training of us in seafaring. We saw our fathers and grandfathers go to sea as young teens and rise and return as chief engineers and captains. But in that ensuing period, we've somehow removed the access to that training on a small space that had it once, that has a strong, maritime history. Through you, and not necessarily now if you're not the best time to ask, but how can we return to that place where we provide the opportunities just like we do in financial services and hospitality for people to be upward skilled and get training to those who want to become, seafarers, who want to get their, Coast Guard return license and the like, and do it here.
I'm going to answer initially, and then I'm going to ask Ms. Erica to jump in.
Okay.
That question is actually on the minds of some of our existing politicians. Minister Kathy Ebanks Wilkes, for example, falls within her remit. She's discussed with us on many occasions, how can we do this? How can we create opportunities for training for some of our Caymanian kids to go on board vessels if that's what they want to do? How can we work with UCCI? How can we work with some of the other training organizations around the region? The Caribbean Maritime University based in Jamaica, it's 45 minutes away. And they have, since COVID now, remote classes and remote teaching. Those are available. And so we are trying to work with whoever will listen to us to create those bridges because of WISTA, we have contacts, we have outreach into the global shipping community. We have access to scholarships that we can make available to students here. And so, the opportunities are there, and it is something that we are willing to try to facilitate.
Erica. And thanks again for, taking time with each of you and joining.
WISTA, as I mentioned before, has been a very integral part of my career development. So one way that I try to give back is to talk about the opportunities. So I found myself at the Cayman Brac Career Fair, as well as the career fairs here, always sort of between the OCP table as well as the Macy table and talking about the opportunities that could be given. And I always find a way to mention WISTA. Even when I have like my community engagements for the Coast Guard, even my social media presence, I've sort of shifted a little bit so that they can see that you can do it. You could be your average person and do it, because a lot of people think that, oh no, I'm not okay, I'm not ready. But God doesn't call persons that are ready.
He doesn't call the equipped, he equips the call.
Exactly. Like I was not ready for my role.
Yeah.
But when came in my hand, it's almost like all the tools just was there and I could have done everything. So I have been to schools. I've spoken about WISTA. I've spoken about the opportunities that were afforded to me, as well as other opportunities that are available, whether it is within Macy or even just maritime overall. Just getting a foot in is enough. The OCP does offer internships. We just finished off a internship season, and we had some interns that were exposed to it. We also had school children coming by. So I really try to my best to get people involved, because a lot of people don't really understand what is available to them. And I think that if you don't necessarily know or even understand where to search, it's going to be a bit difficult. So my social media, I've changed it up a little bit to make it seem a bit like, oh, okay, this is fun, this is cool. And then even the Coast Guard social media, I try to show the various aspects, because we have the Operation Rescue Coordination Center, which is where you learn how to coordinate search and rescues. You have basic boat handling, where you just do the patrols, and then you have specialist units such as medics, you have tactics and weapons, and then you have persons that could specialize in training and others that could specialize in engineering, so fixing vessels, engines, and all that good stuff. So just understanding what is available to you and not necessarily having to search for it, but it's just being right there in the forefront. So I think social media is a really good way to get that out to children and teenagers, because a lot of people, funny enough, don't know about Macy, nor do they know about WISTA or the Coast Guard. So it's just, you see the boat, but you don't know what they do or what they stand for.
That's on us. That's a failure. Because even with, Macy or Cayman shipping, we may want to know but don't understand, and that'll change. You said OCP, right? For listeners who don't know.
My apologies. Office of the Commissioner of Police. So that is the umbrella that is over the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service as well as the Coast Guard.
And again, maybe that structure needs to change, but who knows? But as we evolve and have conversations with respect to how are we presenting it, this is why your presence here. Many would say, well, you're talking about this, where are the men? Good question. We need to be integrated. Good fishing trip means you had fun, you returned safely, and maybe you caught something, right? It's no difference, if you're on a boat or you're coming back. Besides shipping. Yes, Franchi.
Yes, I would like to mention that there are so many opportunities here in shipping because we are on an island where every single thing that basically we use is imported. And many times when students are thinking about careers, they don't think about shipping. But there's jobs at the Port Authority. There are jobs at customs, because without customs, we can't import our goods. There are ships agents like me. And, there's things that, one of the things I'll talk about right now is having a, Caymanian pilots.
The harbor masters, huh?
Yes, the Caymanian pilots, I can tell you from time to time, when there's bad weather, we have to get a tug and a pilot. And the gentlemen that we used to use, they're all retired now. So there are opportunities there for young Caymanians to enter into that field. Yeah. And so I just want to mention some of these things, that kids can look at, that it's not just going into a bank or a law firm, nothing against those careers, but there's other careers and they're well paid.
Exactly.
So I would like to mention that, people should look at shipping.
And thank you, because the harbor masters, Captain Dalzin, for instance, I think about the celestial navigation of Captain Solomon or even Captain Denham. Yes, these are people who are either 90 or 100 years old, but still as, very well as some, quarter age. Miss Jackson.
As Banji was saying, Dwayne, as a mother of the WISTA Cayman Island, as Cherry's named me, my relationship with WISTA is that I was working for the Cayman Island Shipping Registry, Cayman Maritime, for 19 years. And as Banji said, it's many opportunities that the kids, they don't know, that we have within the shipping industry. And that's what one of the main focus of the Maritime Authority is to get the message out there. They attend a lot of schools, fairs, just to let them know about the various opportunities that we have within the shipping industry.
Right. And as you share, this is when I asked the initial sometimes question relative to the training and opportunities. If a child here or a young person says, sits and passes the U.S. Coast Guard 100-ton license because it's available, but is not a U.S. citizen, can't get the license, but yet has demonstrated competence. With the greatest respect, and if it's political, you know what, feel that way, I don't really matter. You shouldn't have to go to Jamaica, England, anywhere to get that thing. Not from a strong maritime heritage that we have. And that has, been encouraging to hear, Minister Ebanks share it. You guys take it on board. If I might, when we come back, Ms. Robinette, maybe speak to you, public sector to private sector. The notion that for many of us, we don't know the career opportunities that exist because as parents, we don't have enough insight to tell our children. As teachers, we're directed by maybe the demands of the industry, and from our limited resources, you're an accountant, so therefore go into accounting. But maybe there's a role for you. Maybe you don't like accounting, you're just good at math, and you could become a naval architect, but nobody told you. Do we talk more about it? Maybe you share with you if you wish. Yeah. You know what? After the break, from the mothership to the face of the international race, Ms. Shanice, we're going to have an interesting discussion, so stay tuned.
The rich flavors of Italy just arrived at Subway. Say ciao to the Italianos. Our 3 new Subway series recipes, carefully crafted with an Italian flair. Try the Hot Shot Italiano for an enticing and zesty touch. The tastier than ever Ultimate BMT, generously stuffed with a mix of ham, pepperoni, and salami. Or go all in with a creamy chicken bacon Alfredo. New Subway series Italianos. Chef-crafted greatness in every bite. Elevate your game only at Subway. Delizioso.
You deserve a unique vacation this year, one with easy non-stop flights from Cayman. Cayman Airways offers more non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline. Now you can add Panama and Los Angeles to your travel bucket list. Skip the hassle of connecting flights. Panama is just a 2-hour non-stop flight from Cayman. And Los Angeles? Get there in less than 5 hours non-stop aboard Cayman Airways. Call 949-2311 or visit CaymanAirways.com to book your Los Angeles or Panama getaway today.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
The mission of the National Conservation Council and the Department of Environment is to ensure our islands consider responsible use of our natural resources while preserving our native species and habitats for future generations. Learn more at conservation.ky.
Attention gamers! The Caribbean's largest esports tournament and gaming convention is back! Gamers Bay 8, hitting the Cayman Islands this September 28th and 29th. Get ready to battle it out in FC24, NBA 2K24, Fortnite, and more for a chance to win your share of $10,000 in cash and prizes. Plus, enjoy free play on everything from classic games to the latest hits. Dive into VR and rev up in our sim racing zones. But that's not all. Meet your favorite gaming influencers, including Beck Brojack, Anything Alexia, and Overflow. Don't miss out. Visit gamersbayevent.com now for tickets and all the details. Sponsored by NetGeeks Media, the Ministries of Investment, Tourism, Border Control, Youth and Sports, Sustainability, Cayman Finance, and Radio Cayman. Level up at Gamers Bay 8, where the Caribbean comes to play.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks for joining us, and thanks for this phenomenal opportunity. I was just trying to quickly calculate, but I didn't have a spreadsheet. The years of expertise and experience amongst people, the intellect, aptitude, the accomplishments. If you were to just put the 6 of you together, not in terms of number of years, but in terms of the weight and import. Internationally, I think there would be a very, very few assemblies that would have so much. Is that an exaggeration, Ms. Charisse, from your perspective?
No, I don't think so. I think each of us brings a wealth of experience and knowledge and contacts in the industry to the table.
And thanks for not just validating, but for other people understanding the importance. The reason I say that, not just with pride to celebrate and to sort of be, ostentatious, is that in Cayman, we don't respect, recognize, reflect, appreciate, support and promote what is here. And if you would, Ms. Robinette, from your perspective, you shared at outset, and I do not want to speak out of school or impose anything that may sort of speak to an abridged of the data protection legislation and all that. But you came from the public sector, you're now in the private sector, you've been at instrumental in it. And is it okay to say still relatively young? I mean, is that fair enough to say? All right. We don't I dance around that because we're so sensitive these days, not us around the table, other people listening and say, oh, he said that. And we don't see that sometimes you need to, take names and so help us to help our young ladies to understand that they are great and they are not to just sit and be told. They're to jump on the ship, untie the cleat and put the trawl in gear and literally. Thank you. So, Ms. Robinette.
Okay, so yes, I've been mentioned earlier at the top of the show.
Mentioned
earlier at the top of the show. I was in the shipping industry for about 13 years in the civil service, and it's a funny story because when I interviewed for that post, it was crew compliance. Had no idea what it was, but I was actually I had a job in Savannah, and the commute was so long, and I was like, okay, I need to get something in town. So Mr. Walton, he called me in, and he was like, you don't have the qualifications, but I looked at your grades. I'm going to give you a chance.
Yeah.
So I'm saying that part of the growth and the development of the students and the community, it starts with those type of leaders that are willing to take that opportunity for the students, right? So I started off in crew compliance. So I'm looking at all the certification for these people to work on board different positions within the ships. And then I moved on to being an assistant registrar of shipping. So then I was registering yachts and the tankers and dealing with mortgage registrations, working alongside Charisse as well when she was at another law firm, and then Maples. So, my progression, it heavily depended on those types of leaders and that type of opportunity. Kayla Martin, who's our current president, she's actually a success story for the Maritime Authority, where she graduated from the University of Liverpool with her master's, and that was supported by by Macy. So, we do have success stories there. When I went over to Maples Fiduciary Services, I also deal with asset finance and the shipping industry as well, alongside of other departments. But again, it depends on who you're involved with, who your managers are, because I did get promoted within that as well. So I just want to say to those type of students, don't be afraid to try something new, speak up, and also just take those opportunities. But it also comes with the public and leaders and companies educating them, saying what's available. But the students also have to go and search for that as well.
And thanks for reference that, in particular highlighting Miss Martin. I had the honor to meet her and interact with her. An amazing individual. The intellect, just stand next to her, you get smart. Right? She's organized. She's just fantastic. And those success stories, but also Mr. Walton. I mentioned him a couple of times from his farming, prowess. You ask him about a plant, he knows the name,
everything.
And he tells you everything. But there's a humility and there's leadership like that puts us in a space. And we have those, but we're so unwilling to share, unwilling to promote. We'll mention somebody that came here from nowhere, there's nothing. All of a sudden, there's something here because they're here. That's not to be disparaging, it's just that we're not loving, honoring, respecting, and valuing who we have around the table. Right, Ms. Charisse?
I would not. It would be remiss of me to allow this opportunity to pass.
Yes.
because Worcester Cayman Islands would not be Worcester Cayman Islands without Mr. Joel Walton.
I was going to say exactly.
Yep.
There are many women, we talk about women, and we talk about elevating women, we talk about creating opportunities for women. But in many cases, men stand behind us. Women who are successful usually have a success story because there's a man who believed in her first.
Yes.
And I make no apologies for this statement. Mr. Walton, I've seen it over and over. He has created opportunities for young ladies. He's seen potential in them, and he has allowed them to grow.
Yeah.
I am one of his example.
Yeah.
Because
and there are many.
So we are the Waltonites?
I'm actually,
yes, we are.
I agree to that because
Yeah.
I started in the civil service under Mr. Walton in the Ministry of, the Finance. Secretariat.
Yeah.
And he's, again, you speak about humility. That's where I learned that leadership style from him because that's what he resonates every single day, and he ensures that everyone under him understands how it works. And he does create opportunities. I cross-trained in many departments throughout government under his leadership.
Yeah.
So he creates those opportunities, and he gives you that chance to develop and then forge your future and make your decisions.
And see, what I'm hearing is like that partnership, there may be a man, a woman. I like how, Miss Erica talked about XY chromosomes. I didn't pay attention to biology. So I think what you referenced, there's something there. But we don't see the importance of that partnership. The father who goes before the daughter, as the son, or the husband who's there to support, promote, and assist and help. But in the Cayman context, our women, while their husbands or brothers or fathers were at sea, played an invaluable role. And this is where it's an impassioned plea. Right, Miss Erica? We can do this one.
We definitely can. And I think how I grew up, before getting involved with Coast Guard, my family, strong women, yes, very strong. If you all know Mrs. Dorrit Armstrong, y'all know strength. But what I'm saying is my family knew me to be very girly. So me applying for Coast Guard was like, I don't think that's for you. But there came a point in my career when it came time for me to apply to be an officer. I was hesitant. I was like, I'm not ready. And then 4 gentlemen, but especially 2, Robert Scotland, Leo Anglin stood behind me, yes, but the 2 that did not allow me to settle was Petty Officer Dwight Hunter and Petty Officer Adrian Clark. They're 2 foreigners, but let me tell you, they pour into Caymanians like it's their own children. I love those 2 men immensely. I would not be wearing this uniform. I would not be wearing this rank if it wasn't for them. The training that they have given me, the tough love that they have shown me in these past almost 4 years has been a testament of what any father that I've lost, I've gained it back with all 4 of those men. They've been such a foundation for me, personally, professionally, and they really keep me grounded. My colleagues as well. Some of my batchmates, they see me and they're like, Mom, Mom, Mom. And it's just like the respect that they've given me and also how they can teach me. They never make me feel small. It's such a welcoming environment because in some industries, I understand that women have a hard time when they're in leadership. But the men at the Cayman Islands Coast Guard are so great. Like I never thought I'd be able to have the opportunity to share this with the country. But Coast Guard, the men, Garvin Dixon, Hugh Bush, I love each and every single one of them. They're so supportive and they really assist us as women. There's 4 women left and all of us have the support of every single man at that organization, hands down.
As it should be. A rising tide floats all ships, they say, and this is it. And if you live in Cayman, where your bread is buttered and your head might be late at night, you need to pour in. As we ask Miss Sherry's for a closing promise. Miss Vanji, another strong woman. I'm late to ask you. Miss Erica said, she was a girly. Well, you're an elegant lady. But, that doesn't take away from your prowess, right?
Yes, exactly. You can be very girly or very ladylike, or you can be a tomboy, and you can work in any job that you want. You just have to believe in yourself. And then, like you said, if you have, your father, your brother, your uncle, your husband, people who support and believe in you, you will rise to the challenge.
As we need to sharpen each other. So I know you have the event, but in closing, share as you wish to share. And please, not only for your 10th anniversary celebration, not even before or after you return from Cyprus and the like, but and if you want to take me along, just let me know. I pack easily. Nah, just kidding. But I travel lightly. Share with us, Mom.
Yep. In celebration of our 10th anniversary, we thought we would do something that would be useful for the community. It's building on an event that we did previously, which is Safety at Sea. It's something that we feel we need to reiterate to the community constantly. And so we are having a seminar on Thursday, the 12th of September at 6 p.m. at the Georgetown Yacht Club at Smith Barcadere. We'll have a panel discussion where we'll have guest speakers, people from the Coast Guard and other sectors, talking about safety, how you navigate, particularly places like the North Sound, safely. What are some of the rules that we should follow? And we'll discuss whether or not we need more regulation in that industry. It's open to discussion. Not everyone thinks we do. Some people disagree. We'll talk about it. At least we'll have an informed discussion about it. We've worked and partnered with the Cayman Islands Coast Guard and Miss Erica to produce what we refer to as a brochure, which sets out some do's and don'ts about the operation of vessels within the North Sound. You alluded to the fact that someone could come in and purchase a vessel with no experience and no qualifications. If that's the case, then what are some of the tips that we could pass on to them for the safe operation of their vessel? Because if they operate their vessel safely, it means that everyone else using vessels within the North Sound would also be safe, right?
Your, movement in the Sound as a commercial vessel or just a recreational can affect everybody. And even just, your boat, hit the bottom. Just kidding.
All kinds of problems with that. The event is not going to be possible without our sponsors. And we have sponsors from the Ministry of Sustainability and Climate Resiliency, the Maples Group, Safri Trust, Campbell's, FFP, Walker's, Ali Mass, Rogers and Lindsay, and the Maritime Authority of the Cayman Islands. And we'd really, really like to thank our sponsors. These people have supported Worcester and the community for a very long time, and we wouldn't be able to do things without their support.
Well, we'd like to publicly invite you to return if after, the 12th, and certainly at any point, as we encourage more and more interest in the different sectors, understanding that you could have a passion for a particular profession and still find that there's a way to use that in almost everything in this country. Opportunities for others. Let's see if we can embrace it for our own. It truly has been an honor, and I very rarely have I felt so enamored. So thank you all so much.
Thank you for having us.
All right. Well, you know what? Mark the space because the Walter Knights will return. Stay tuned.
This is the People's Radio Station. Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market.
With a look at your latest headlines, I'm Dwayne Ebanks. Caribbean Utilities Company has awarded scholarships to 4 young Caymanians for higher education abroad. Demisio Frederick will study mechanical engineering at the University of Plymouth in the UK. Brioni Gallego will study research, design and analysis at Florida International University, and Aaron Webster will study mechatronics engineering at Humber College in Canada. Tasmar Dawkins will study engineering management at Arkansas State University. CUC's scholarship program has supported over 65 candidates since 1989. In regional news, police are investigating if a shark killed 16-year-old Jamari Reed, whose headless body was found after he went missing during a spearfishing trip. His mutilated body was retrieved by divers with the left arm severed. Jamari's father, Michael Reed, had tried to discourage his son's spearfishing hobby. Fisherman Christopher Reynolds reported seeing a massive tiger shark near the body. Efforts to kill the shark were unsuccessful. This is the first suspected shark attack in Trelawney waters in recent history, possibly linked to a cruise ship. Spearfishers are advised to be cautious after cruise ships dock. The Bahamas government is in discussions with a prospective buyer for the 542-room Grand Lucayan Resort 6 years after acquiring it. Prime Minister Philip Davis confirmed the talks but did not disclose the buyer. The resort was bought in 2018 for $65 million under the Hubert Minnis administration. A previous deal to sell it for $100 million to Electra America Hospitality Limited collapsed in 2022. The government aims to sell the property to reduce the annual operational costs. That is your latest headlines. I'm Jevi Ebanks.
www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
The DVDL Customer Support Unit is now open. Customers can book appointments for written and driving tests through DVDL's hotline at 945-8344. That's 945-8344.
Radio Cayman Talk Today continues.
And with that entrance, Mr. Carl, this is how we do it. All right, welcome. Thanks for calling as we go straight to the phones. Hey, good afternoon. Thank you for calling.
Good afternoon, Stella. How are you?
Hey, okay. Hello, good afternoon. I think I heard something, but I'm not quite sure.
Yes, you hear me?
There you are.
Wonderful. Thanks so much for taking my call.
Thank you for sharing your time with us.
We've had some really good callers and things expressed today, so it's encouraging to hear some of the things being said. I wanted to quickly touch on something. I know that there's a lot of development going on in the islands, throughout all Cayman Islands.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not against development. What I will say is that I think that we're developing at a rate that is extremely rapid. And we're developing in a way in which I'm not sure that we are considering just our way of life, whether it's the traffic or whether it's the ability to see a blue coastline when we drive through and sit in the traffic. And it was recently brought to my attention, actually just yesterday. This is really kind of like a PSA for the people of West Bay. And when I say people of West Bay, I mean West Bayers, I mean residents, to just kind of be aware of. Because I don't think that anyone would really know this unless they were in the geographical area of this new construction, of what new construction is going to potentially pass. Sterling, you're familiar with Heritage Square in West Bay across from Centennial Towers, right?
Yes.
Wonderful. So just the other day, I drove down there, and my understanding is, like right now when you drive down there, you know, you have Heritage Square. It's got a very kind of relaxed feel to the area. A lot of people will be familiar because just behind there on Bautisan Road is Heritage Kitchen. In fact, you can even see the sign for Heritage Kitchen from the road. It's a really kind of relaxed drive through. Now, people will have recently gotten a different experience because they've put a very large building called the Sands up. It kind of feels like a concrete jungle. I kind of feel like I'm starting to drive through Miami at this point. And my concern is that there apparently is a new project before the Central Planning Authority where it sounds like to me Heritage Square is going to be removed and they're going to construct potentially 14 apartments. I am concerned, even though I don't live in that geographical area where I would have gotten an objection letter or I would have gotten notice. I do think that the people of West Bay need to be aware of a couple of different things, specifically this particular area, which I think West Bay is actually, out of our entire island, we're 75 square miles, but apparently in West Bay, we're only 6 square miles, is what I understand. So we've got a very small area that we need to kind of think about or be concerned about. And one of the things I am concerned about in this particular area is that it is a historic overlay zone. And I'm not sure if everybody understands what that means, but with that area being a historic overlay zone, there are things that the Central Planning Authority needs to consider. And I really want to encourage the community of West Bay to start looking around them and asking themselves if this is the area, if the way that they're developing, if the style, the aesthetic, the very high height, the blocking out of our sea view, what this building could potentially do to us, and how this is going to impact our traffic, how this is potentially 14 more apartments right on top of the sand, how this will impact maybe people thinking what beach rights they may have. There's a lot of considerations that I would bring to people's attention. I don't believe personally that just because a notice goes out to a certain area within the community, that it doesn't impact the entire community.
Right. If I might ask you though.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and thanks again for bringing that, because some may have heard it. It's kind of like when buildings are being demolished, others don't hear about it until they actually have been told. But in this case, two things that, from what you shared immediately, you referenced it being a historical overlay zone, right?
Correct.
In that, there are two parts to the question. First is, what is that? And then secondly, what does that mean, and how is that binding? So what is something being designated a historical overlay zone? What do you know about it that you can share with the listeners?
What I can tell you is, in this particular context, a historic overlay zone that relates to this particular project. This is where this project falls with it. And Regulation 16, I think it's subsection 2 of the Development and Regulations, the 2024 revision, applies, and it says, and I quote, "In considering any application for permission to develop within a historic overlay zone, the authority shall, in its discretion," it's a little confusing to me because shall means you must, but if you have discretion, it means maybe you will, maybe you won't. But it says the authority shall, in its discretion, ensure that the development, A, conforms to the traditional workmanship, design, scale, massing, form, materials, decoration, color, and methods of construction of the buildings, and the location of windows and doors in them, and B, in its setting, reflects the historic pattern. So a pattern is something that's happened over time, not what's starting to pop up. A pattern is the historic pattern of development in the island. So it would therefore be incumbent, on the owners of this particular proposed project to recognize this regulation and maybe do their best to adhere to it.
Right, and that's existing legislation. This is not in any of the proposals you're saying, just for emphasis and clarity. That's
the
existing.
Historic overlay zone, you can find that in the Regulation 16.2 of the Development Regulations 2024 revision.
Right, okay.
So I'm wanting to bring this to the people's attention because for me personally, my family's from West Bay. I grew up in West Bay, but I look at all of the islands, all three, every single district. I'm a Caymanian. You can't divide me from my people. You can't divide me from my community. And when you are driving through like the four-way stop area, you know how those areas get congested. You know how it might be a little difficult. And I'm really urging people to consider what our West Bay is not even starting to look like. It's changing now. And projects are happening so quickly. You turn around, like you said, and they're done. So what I'm going to be doing today is I have a letter with a variety of different points. There's 8 different points that talk about the road access at the four-way stop and how this particular project could potentially impact not just the residents of West Bay, but even visitors. Like, it's nice if you are familiar with the area, you're going to know where Heritage Kitchen is. But what's nice is if you're a tourist and you're driving along that road and you look over and you see the little sign from the road, you can see that the Heritage Kitchen is there.
But you have the museum as well, right?
Yeah, so there's a lot of things that when this construction is built, it's about 14 apartments. By the time it's done, there are lots of little hidden gems. And guess what? They're going to be so hidden, no one's going to know they're there unless you grew up in the neighborhood and you know what to look out for.
Right. But then...
You need to think about how it looks.
Yeah. So then, that leads me to the next thing in sort of the second part of the question before I ask the second question. But part two, that this historical overlay zone, is that binding? Is that just something that needs to be considered? What does... And for clarity, of the view that if you want to build something that's considered industrial, for instance, in a residential area, there might be some challenges, if not impossibilities. So does that historical overlay zone impact the planning approval?
Well, from what I'm understanding in the regulation, I think that's an excellent, wonderful question. What I'm reading, what confuses me is it says the authority shall.
It's discretion.
But then it's discretion. So to me, discretion means, well, maybe you'll consider it, maybe you won't. You'll use your discretion, which would change it from shall to may. So I'm unfortunately not of a legal to be able to
Fair enough.
that question clearly. Right. But I do know that these are things that they should be considering. And when I saw the sands go up, it was like 1 minute it wasn't there, the next minute it was there, and it feels like a building that just... I have to look at West Bay. I have to look at my islands, and I feel like we're being driven farther away from our sea.
Right.
Just had these seafaring guests on, and I'm sitting there going, it feels like we're being the sea is being tapped off to certain types of people who can afford it, and the rest of us must drive on new roads and highways and be as far away from what is a natural, organic way of our community living and driving.
Right. And to your point, I mean, this leads us into the second question, but it's not unlike, actually, let me say it directly, it's very much like the earlier comments that people had with respect to the sands development, as you referenced, seemingly being so close to the main road. But that's very much like the initial sort of concerns that people expressed publicly when there were some knowledge that we were going to be building a tunnel between West Bay and Georgetown that would impact people moving through and the heights of the vehicles and the like. So we don't know something until after. With that said, as you referenced the historical overlay zone, I'm told that in the early days of the National Trust and its Historical Advisory Committee and the like, Boggett Sands proper was proposed or considered to be such as South Church Street. And we've seen the developments in those two areas specifically. So to the listener who's saying, well, that's no different from the new project, the Sands, that is almost in the road, to what's on Boggett Sand, to what's on South Church Street. In fact, if you go just a little bit further down the road to Northwest Point, you're seeing this massive concrete, sort of edifices being erected to the chagrin of many of the neighbors. So how is this new project any different than what already has been the pattern?
Okay, so I can respond to that because actually I had this conversation with a fellow West Bayer actually just last night. We looked over at the sands and he pointed up and he said, well, the precedence has already been set. And I said, well, here's the thing. Just because something has been done once doesn't make it right. And just because something has been done and it may be permissible in some context does not mean that a community should sit back and let it continue on. And when you start to see your community changing in such ways that more buildings will bring more tenants will bring more traffic, there are lots of things that we need to look at. And a lot of people are actually happy with the way that they live in West Bay. And what I am urging the people in West Bay, whether you're a resident or a West Bayer, is to consider at what point do we sit back and say, hey, this is, it's already been done, so we should just keep letting it happen. I'm urging everyone, I will be at the West Bay Public Library today from about 4:45 p.m. to about 6 p.m. I will have the letter, and I will have a form where if anyone would like to read the letter, if they would like to sign the letter, voicing their concern or objection, I would welcome it. What I want to encourage people to understand is this.
Mm-hmm.
This particular plan is on the Central Planning Authority, so it's available and visible to everyone and anyone to see. But I also know that people are busy working, they're busy paying bills, they're stuck in traffic, and this is what a community does. When we see something and we see things rapidly changing, it doesn't mean we sit back and we say, oh, well, it's happened 20 times before, so what's the difference now?
Mm-hmm.
The difference is what we choose to do. The difference is whether we say this is our country, this is our district, this is our home. And I'm not against development, but there needs to be considerations when those projects are done as to how it will overall affect the entire community going in and out of West Bay, whether you're living there or whether you're visiting there. So that is what the difference is do you want to sit back and watch your district just completely turn into one whole concrete jungle which you cannot afford to live in? Or do you want to say, hey, listen, everyone deserves to make a living and development will happen, but there needs to be considerations. And when you have things like a historic overlay zone, when you have concerns about what the aesthetic is going to look like, when you have these concerns, that you should at least speak up and say, hey, I want you to really take a careful look at this. Don't just check the box because you said you checked the box.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just bringing this to the people's attention. I'm asking anybody that lives in West Bay, if you're from West Bay, if you're a resident of West Bay, if you would like to come to the West Bay Public Library, I will be there from about 4:45 p.m. today till about 6 o'clock. You can read the letter of objection. You can sign it if you'd like to. You're more than welcome to. We really want to show the Central Planning Authority that regardless of where you're developing in West Bay,
Mm-hmm.
the entire community cares and the entire community is paying attention. And we can't control what happens in other districts, but we can come together and we can say, hey, this is how we like our community to be, and don't want to be surrounded by concrete 24/7.
Mm-hmm. So this afternoon at the Presbyterian Library from 4:45 to about 6.
Yes,
All
I'll
right.
be there from 4:45 to 6. I'll have the document people can read, but they can also go to the Central Planning Authority, and I can give the project number. The project number is P for project. That's P-24-0468. It's block 5B, parcels 148 and 150. But anyone can go on the Central Planning Authority and see all of these plans. I realize that people don't always have the time to do this.
Mm-hmm.
All I'm doing is bringing another project to the people's attention to say, listen, before it's too late, before it's done, you can always have your say. We can all be respectful. It's not about who's developing it or what. It's just about saying, hey, this is our community, and it's changing quickly. And I don't understand why we have these plan Caymans and all these other meetings. Well, they're telling us they want us to speak up and they want to hear what we think about things and what our concerns are. Well, we can speak up at any point in time. We don't have to wait for government to have a meeting.
Mm-hmm.
We can use our voices anytime we want to.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, and keep us posted on this and or other, similar issues. Hey, thanks very much. All right.
Thank you so much for your time. God bless, and appreciate the opportunity to share this with the people of West Bay. So thank you so much.
You're most welcome.
All right.
Thanks again. And with that, quick break, and then return to our calls. Stay tuned.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
You deserve a unique vacation this year, one with easy non-stop flights from Cayman. Cayman Airways offers more non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline. Now you can add Panama and Los Angeles to your travel bucket list. Skip the hassle of connecting flights. Panama is just a 2-hour non-stop flight from Cayman. And Los Angeles? Get there in less than 5 hours non-stop aboard Cayman Airways. Call 949-2311 or visit CaymanAirways.com to book your Los Angeles or Panama getaway today.
Discover your dream home with Cayman National's home loan. Get up to 95% financing, repayment up to 40 years, and just a 0.5% commitment fee. Your interest rate? Depending on your risk factors, it'll be fixed or variable. Plus, you get a pre-approved credit card. This is a limited time offer. Dial 949-8300 or email lending@caymanational.com today.
The DVDL Customer Support Unit is now open. Customers can book appointments for written and driving tests through DVDL's hotline at 945-8344. That's 945-8344.
The Ministry of Education and the Passport and Corporate Services Office remind all students traveling to and from school overseas to ensure their passports are valid for both travel and entry into their destination country. Passports should be renewed at least 10 weeks before departure, and any necessary student visas must be obtained. For passport services, contact the Passport and Corporate Services Office at 649-7678. For Ministry of Education scholarship inquiries, contact scholarships@gov.ky. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Education and the Passport and Corporate Services Office.
New Day, the Ready, Set, Learns by the Pursuit of Excellence Foundation, originally scheduled for Saturday, August 24th, now has a new date. Grand Cayman. Mark your calendars for August 31st for the exciting event. Free school supplies for those who still need, professional haircuts, games, yummy refreshments, and of course, fantastic prizes and surprises. This postponement is due to unforeseen circumstances, but shipping dilemma aside, Ready, Set, Learn is eager to get you geared up for back to school. Again, it's a new date for Grand Cayman of August 31st, but at the same time of 1 to 4 p.m. at the Lion Center. See you then. Let's make this school year the best one yet. Thank you to all our sponsors and volunteers for making it happen. This is one event you don't want to miss.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back and thank you for joining us. And as the caller just reminded, there are some applications before planning. Sometimes the public may want to know but don't access the websites. She's brought one to their attention, and she shared, 4:45 to 6 this afternoon at the West Bay Library. She'll inform you, give you an opportunity to sign and be engaged. Just one of many that is unfolding as we take this next call. Hey, welcome and thanks for sharing.
Good afternoon, sir.
And to you, my lady, how are you today?
Pretty good.
All right. Well, I hope as the day unfolds and the sun sets and rises again, that it'll be better.
Yes. Yeah, I want to hit on the lady there, but I didn't. That's not what I'm calling for. But Sterling. It is a shame to know that these, I call them investors, can come here and just build whatever they want to build. Yeah. And McKeever Bush said on the radio at some point in time that we cannot tell people what to build on their property. You can't tell people what to build on their property, but the private home owner wants to put some in their backyard. It is a problem with planning. Can you imagine?
Yeah, I think that perhaps sometimes I think I hear what you're saying. I'm trying to understand the context in which you relay what he shared. But indirectly, some would say, well, we can't tell people what to build on their property. If you, by zoning, or however they have that determined, says that this is residential and you want to change it to something else, or as agriculture, you want to build a residential, there has to be a change of use and the like. Or you in a commercial space, but it's retail, now you want to put a restaurant, you apply and hopefully be granted, and if appropriate, a change of use. So we can, and we dictate. But can I maybe invite you and through you ask others to consider? You've got a destructor, because maybe they're not developers, and they've come to purchase a piece of land. They decide that they could do a subdivision of sorts. And by agreement, you are precluded from building certain things in that area. So maybe not only that, but forgive me, you have to now say houses in that area have to be 5,000 or 6,000 or 3,000 square feet minimum, have to look like this, and they all, end of the day, reflect one particular sort of design aesthetic. That's telling people what they can do or can't do with the land, is it not?
Yeah, Sterling, it hurts to the core. Look at the building right there before we stop. The back property of that building and the private owners fence alongside of that. Sterling, if you walk between that building and that fence, a broad shoulder individual probably can't walk comfortable behind that building. Got to walk sideways to get out of on each side.
Well, let's look at that one, right? But let's take the two tunnels that go to back and forth between West Bay. Let's take the bridge. If for some reason they become impossible, right? Let's say we have CCTV cameras installed. We become a police state. They decide that they're going to lock down certain parts. They can quickly, lock off, just like they do in prison cells, and you can't move between point A and point B if that is the only means of getting to and fro. And yet we've built them.
Oh, Sterling, it hurts to the core, and I take my hat off to that lady for what she's going to try to do this afternoon, and I just pray that they'll go out and work with her and get some things settled, because it's just unreal. Look at our Moringa town. I see a big article on that. We're planning say this and planning say that. You know what's going to happen, Sterling? When the new government come in next year, they're going to approve that building to be built down on Moringa town property.
Right.
It's going to be approved.
So with that in mind, let's turn the coin over and go back to what you shared in Mr. McKeever Bush reference, that you can't tell people what to do. If we speak to the two projects you referenced, whether the one you just talk about the Moringa town or the one by the West Bay 4-way, if it's allowable on this site and a person decides, hey, I want to maximize the use, I want to build this, and this is where development, construction, or buildings are going, why can't that person do it? So let's see if we can see both sides of the equation, right? How do we make that so that it's beneficial now and it's sustainable?
Sterling, and I'm not trying to cut you.
No, it's a discussion.
Somewhere down the line, something has to come to a stop, and I mean a complete stop.
Okay.
We cannot continue to be building mega buildings throughout this island. I mean, look at Gordon Avenue and look at Moringa Town. They're going to take it to Walker's Road and the rest of the other area of that area and then back into town. Look at that about cable and wireless flow. They are there digging a trench deep enough to put a casket in. This broad day, they are doing that. We got people who are trying to get to work. People go for lunch and they can't get back to their job on time because then the traffic is so backed up. Sterling, they've been working downtown Georgetown now must be over a year. You want to tell me that they couldn't consider getting some sort of trolley and let those workers that work downtown Georgetown park their car somewhere and take them back and forth to their vehicle and keep that traffic out of Georgetown that these guys are trying to get to their jobs? What are they thinking? People got to survive too, because in the project they got downtown Georgetown, man, that's just a waste of government money, and people here in this island hungry and need somewhere to live, and so forth and so forth. But Sterling, I want to just talk about the school, and I'm going to let you go, and I'm going to go because I got to go to work. School is back in today. Sterling, and you know what, too? Anything that's in the tunnel right now that has already been passed or going to be passed for the coming new government, believe me, 99.9% they're going to pass them to. And although that we got in planning, that planning needs to be revamped. That's like immigration. And the police department needs to be revamped to a degree. So many things happening. The roads is crazy. You don't see no officer giving no tickets. You don't see I mean, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. Well, Sterling, as you know, today is back to school. I just want to reach out to all the parents on this island today. So please instill into your children's future. Not because they may be in year 1 today or year 2 tomorrow next year. What they can learn now in year 1, don't say, they can pick it up in year 2. Make sure they got all the year 2 what they're supposed to learn in year 2. So when they get into year 1, into year 2, they know exactly they're on the right track. control the devices in the home. Spend some time with your children and talk to them about bullying the children in school. There's no need to have our children being bullied in school by each individual who likes to do it and get away with it, because parents don't believe their kids do anything wrong. So I'm just asking the parents at school open here today to please instill into your children's education.
Yes.
Education is the must for this little baby island that we so-called home.
Yeah.
And we got people coming here left, right, and center taking, you all say, the jobs from the Caymanians. Well, if the child doesn't have the education, we will have more work from it coming to Cayman. Parents, instill into your children and fight for education, because it's only a one-time thing. At this age, when they get up at the age of 18 and 19 and 20 and they can't do certain things, you got to still have them in your house with you.
Yeah.
You know, they got to fly then. They got to be flying then on their own.
Well, thank you for that love and care that you have for children and men like you who, work directly with them, especially on the buses. A prayerful, petition for a safe school year. All right. Thanks again.
Yes. All righty.
All right. Talk to you soon. Take care.
Bye. Bye-bye.
My good friend, one more final call, I think. Alrighty. Hey, thanks for facilitating the call as we go to the phones. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Sterling. Dwayne Sterling.
Hey, listen. James Alfred Christian. Oh, look at the good Mr. Dolan, I miss him, man. How are you?
I'm good, my friend. But I just thanking God for life, and I hope you're doing all right. I hope you had your chocolate eat, because that lady, I tell you the honest truth. I sit here just now, I listen to that lady that called in regarding West Bay. And the only thing I could reflect on when she was giving them comments was the whole creation of this problem was planning, didn't have no zoning in the Cayman Islands for these kind of problems that we are getting now. That is what happened. That is what created this. We didn't have no zoning. And when you don't have that, you got have problems. And this is what is creating the problem today. And I never call no politician name, but I know for a fact, because I got it recorded, the politician that stood up in the LA building at the time, and he said, when Mr. Dodd was building the buildings on West Bay Road and everywhere else that he was trying to accomplish and trying to conquer, he told the people that came on, shut on the mouth and give the man a chance to see what he gonna do. Listen, when we got them kind of people leading us, telling us to shut our mouth, for foreign investors to come in and destroy these islands like what I later speaking about, it's too late for Grand Cayman. It is too late for Grand Cayman. I flew over some days ago. In the areas that I thought that wouldn't been developed, the marsh areas, I see development in those areas. I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw it. It has gone too far, because planning has let themselves just dwindle out of the door. When they see the rich coming, they just open their drawers and say, here, sign on this piece of paper and go. When they see the poor man walk in, everything in the world go haywire. Like what old people say, that stuff hit the fan. But it's going to come down to the point one of these days that the stuff will hit the fan. Because if the people don't stand up against planning to stop what's happening in Grand Cayman, before these areas, like what she was talking about, get too bad, Sterling, you yourself, you from right there, you from right up around Barker's area there, and I can tell you something, you're not going to have nowhere to swim, Sterling, you listening to me?
I hear you.
I hope you got number 9 bath fan home.
But
yeah, Thompson got plenty of number 10s. So try go find yourself a number 12, because you're not gonna have no way to swim, you're not gonna have no way to walk, because planning is not gonna give in to the rich to make the poor in a way in life.
Yeah, perhaps on a let me put it, not attempting to defend planning, whether it's the CPA or the planning department. Do we need to ask the question, to what extent, and perhaps in light of the Plan Cayman initiative, do we need to have a rethink and a genuine look at where we are and where we want to be in, say, 50 years? Are we asking ourselves and our children, and what is the sort of impetus of what?
When you, and not to cut you off, sorry.
That's fine, man. I can always have the mic.
Thank you. When you have people up inside there with power, that all this now talking about tourism, the tourism product, the tourism this. Listen, the tourism came here, the tourists came here for one purpose only, and that purpose is called relaxation. They didn't come here to look up at a 18-story building. Where they come from, they see hundreds of them. When the planning department had a hand on these things, the overall hidden and the overall powers ride it out and gave them the right to say, no, let's give them a chance. Let's let them build it. And let's see how Cayman got look. Let's see how West Bay Road got look with these uprising buildings. No, we can't even see the sky. That lady was speaking about seeing the water. When I come Cayman, I can't even see the sky.
This is an opportunity for us. And again, perhaps you might be, whether when you're here next in studio or whether we do it by phone, engaging people. And you've been very courageous and candid in your comments. So maybe others will be able to take up, given that there's an opportunity. Can we pick it up again another time? Would you give consideration to join us either?
Yes,
right.
Man. Yeah, we can pick it up another time. But Sterling, first before I go, I would just like to encourage anybody that will listen to that lady first. See if they can put aside.
Yeah.
Get their children. Find someone to watch their children or take their children with them and go and sit down and talk and find out what's happening, because when it's too late, we can't bend the tree after the tree is grown, We got to start bending it now. And Cayman have one little chance in certain areas to be bent. After that, it's too late, my friend. Anyway, you enjoy your chocolate. I can get mine.
Well, I appreciate your permission. Thank you, man. And I'll touch base with you. Thanks again.
Yeah, man. We talk, bro.
All right. To all the listeners, maybe three things. And thanks to the caller for sharing, and all the callers who have contributed. We heard it at the beginning of the program that the closing nominations for the Proud of Them Youth Awards ends on the 6th. That's next Friday, I think. So please get your nominations in. Recognize or you let them know that they're respected, appreciated, and that they are amazing. So let's encourage them. And then the wonderful, women in our society, from the Miss Georgia's of the blessed memory, and the many who have, before her, and who have been inspired by women like her. My mothers and sisters, your, sisters, mothers, aunts, hopefully your children as well. Let's appreciate who we are, where we are, and what and how we can make a more meaningful and invaluable, contribution. So, the ladies in Worcester, thank you for joining us earlier. Very, very, very encouraged by that. But to the callers who pointed out that this issue of how much construction, and construction does not mean that it's development. And when we talk about progress and advancement, is that to improve the quality of life, give better opportunities for health, education, and financial reward, is improving the quality of life. Blame is perhaps the easiest game to play. But to what extent are we willing to stand in the gap? And to the last caller, Mr. James Albert Christian has shared his views, as he has often, and so have many of you. Are we listening what is being said and trying to understand in a way that we can contribute, or we dismissing because we don't want to hear the messenger. That may happen to all of us at some point, but ask yourselves, if you are saying something and not being heard because they don't want to hear what you have to say, not because of what it is, but because of who is saying it. Is that the way to be? Life has perhaps shown us that things change rapidly, and what Cayman is experiencing in terms of the increasing cost of living, prices of land, accessibility to housing, healthcare, education, even some of the goods and services, is very much like what is happening globally. You don't need to listen to BBC or watch international news to see that many countries are facing some challenges that they were unwilling to at least acknowledge until, as they say, the chickens come home to roost. But in that, let's make sure our response is not so emotionally charged that we are unreasonable in our responses. Let's make sure that we are not so unwilling to stand in a gap that we are, as Billy Joel has shared in one of his songs, the reason for their unanswered prayers as we talk about the future generation. I have much to do, and so do you. And together we can make it that much better if we unite. Easy to be divided and easy to be, sort of freed and not afraid. Let's not make that mistake. Too many have gone and wish they had. And too many here have been silenced because they are unwilling to acknowledge that it takes courage, strength of character, and unity to succeed. God's willing will be a part of tomorrow's discussion as we invite you. Matt Brown is expected to join us for the first part of the program. Mr. Mason will be a part of that discussion. Then 2 o'clock, Mr. Lehan Puri will close us out. Friday, we're hoping to engage some young people in an amazing discussion, but that's Friday. Let's take each day as it comes, because for me, the challenge hasn't been about reflecting, recognizing the future is coming. It's about embracing the now. I'll work on that. Maybe so will you. Until tomorrow, my friends, be blessed.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways, call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Doctors Hospital, peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.